Hi everyone, and welcome to our 2025 production of ShowSomeSkin, Kaleidoscope. I am Noah Korth, this year's executive director. It's been 2 years since ShowSomeSkin's last production, where we pushed back against the new normal that emerged after the pandemic. But since then, a lot has changed. As Americans, we face a culture war that seeks to divide us, where immigrants are dehumanized, Black people are criminalized, and trans people are denied basic respect. And the very language we need to bridge these divides is under attack, with terms like BIPOC, DEI, and LGBTQ facing censorship. The so-called anti-woke movement argues that such terminology sacrifices individuality on the altar of group categorization. But recognizing our social context doesn't erase individuality, it enriches it. Identity is not monolithic. We are all shaped by the convergence of multiple cultures and experiences. But like a kaleidoscope, we have the power to take these broken bits and pieces of ourselves and refract them into something beautiful. In our call for stories, we invited you to reflect on the collisions that have shaped you. Tonight, you will hear monologues about moments when individuals felt misunderstood or reduced to stereotypes, but also the moments when they found strength and solidarity in the shared experience of living at the crossroads. The voices you will hear tonight belong to our actors, but the stories were submitted anonymously by members of the Notre Dame community. As you listen to these stories, we invite you to sit with the emotions they evoke. However, we also encourage you to prioritize your well-being throughout the performance. A list of trigger warnings is provided in the program, so please feel free to step out at any time if you need a break. I'd also like to draw your attention to the back of the program, where there is a list of Spanish to English translations for some of the monologues. Before we begin the show, I'd like to elaborate on the mission of ShowSomeSkin. Students created this show 13 years ago to start a conversation about identity and difference at this school. While we call ourselves a Notre Dame family, many marginalized members of our community do not feel at home under the dome. Like any family, ours is not immune to problems. Tonight's stories balance loving critique with appreciation for our community. We hope they inspire reflection on how we can make Notre Dame a more welcoming place for all. Thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoy the show.
It was my third therapist that finally clicked with me. She was chaotic in her own right, and I respected that. Most therapy offices feel impossible to relax in. Everything's situated just right, with the furniture blending into the walls through a sea of neutral beige grayness. All of the pictures are hung in perfect geometric patterns, and the desks that never have anything on them, maybe just a keyboard and monitor. In those spaces, you feel like you're the only thing out of place, the only thing broken or messy. But Cassandra's office is different. Her desk is cluttered, she has pictures of real places on the walls, and she even has seasonal throw pillows. I mean, it's nice. She suggested that I need some sort of mental image to help me picture how all of the different pieces come together to make this, me. And the best thing that I could think of is one of those shape-based puzzles for kids. You know, the ones where the triangle goes in the triangle spot, or the orange circle goes in the circle place. I think something like this can help me make sense of all of my human messiness. Of course, life is a little more complicated than a children's toy, and it's equally frustrating to figure out. For the most part, though, I feel like our boards start off with a lot in common. There's a space for family, friends, our favorite foods, whether we are really loud or kind of shy. And as kids, it seems that we love to share our boards with each other, tossing pieces and memories back and forth, sharing opinions and perspectives. It's the way a kid will tell you exactly what they're thinking and where the thought came from. Sometimes, as children, someone else will even share our boards for us. My mom's favorite piece was my star. My belief that I could sing, dance, act, or do anything that required a talent. She'd even have me perform for her friends in the church parking lot. But as we grow, our boards, they grow with us. Sometimes without us even noticing, and that is usually where things get complicated. As life gets busy with school and sports, family, stuff, we bring our boards out for show and tell less and less. We really only look to examine them when something big happens, something that might shake a piece loose. It's the way none of us saw mood swings coming under construction as a teenager, and it's how none of us anticipated our first experience with loss. And it's just like that we'll all have an earthquake of a day, one that throws all of our pieces from the board, and frustrated like toddlers, we'll try slamming squares into hexagons and purple into maroon. Maybe we even see a whole new section of the board. We pick up a piece of ourselves and it seems scary, or we know it's gonna scare someone else. So we hide ourselves in our dressers and under the bed. And we cover the holes with construction paper and cardboard, and we hope that nobody sees. Eventually, these cardboard coverings turn to plaster, something more permanent and concealing. And it feels like we give each other the tools to build these barriers. It was my teacher who gave me the bricks when she told me I shouldn't play with the girls at indoor recess. It was my dad who gave me the mortar when he called me a diva, and it was my friends who sealed the wall with the comments they throw around the baseball field. All of these layers of concealment and condemnation add up, and they make our boards heavy and difficult to carry. So I've had to learn to use my star as a chisel, to crack away these barriers, brushing off the rubble. I see all of these parts of me, new and old. The parts that let me sing without my headphones on. The parts that make me dance as I walk down the sidewalk, and the parts that smile when I hear him call my name. I am proud of all the work that I've done. But I'm left with this nagging question. Do we ever really get to see all of the pieces of ourselves? Or is something always going to be hidden behind the barriers that we've built?
Yeah, I'm African American. But when I studied abroad, I wasn't the African American girl. I wasn't even the black girl. I was the American girl. Hi, my name is, oh my gosh, are you American? Are there really rats in New York? Oh, I've always wanted to go to Disney World. That election really was something, huh? From the second I said hello, they could hear my accent and automatically categorize me as an American. It's funny, because they all sounded different to my ears. But to them, I'm the outsider. I'm the one that was different. When I'm here in America, I don't really feel proud to be an American. School shootings, crooked politicians, blatant racism, the list can go on forever. I never truly feel safe, like anywhere. Notre Dame isn't so bad. I guess that Catholic social teaching did come in handy for some. Anyways, Even with this, when I was abroad and anyone had anything bad to say about Americans, I was defending our country. I was on the front line saying that we were revolutionary for using inches in Fahrenheit instead of meters in Celsius, and that we work hard because of our American spirit. The hypocrisy is that I would never say anything like that on American soil. In fact, I'm positive I physically cringe whenever anyone says anything along those lines. America kind of sucks, but so do many other places in the world. When I'm here, I'm seen as the black girl that has to go through life with constant challenges. When I'm there, I'm seen as the American girl that has everything I need and more. It's all about perspective. And sometimes, it's good to get out of your bubble, experience new things, mingle with new people. Sometimes, in order to see your worth, to see your light, to shine, you need to change your perspective. Put your phone down and go explore the world. Someone here might not see the real you, but someone, somewhere else, will.
What's the Notre Dame experience like? As a bright-eyed and bushy-tailed freshman, I latched onto the first possible friend group I could find. We decided to head to La Fun for some smash burger. I know, I'm probably dating myself here. The rest of the group had ventured off for some other food in the building, and I was left waiting with one other guy. We got to talking, and he seemed nice enough. He was from Pennsylvania, considered a different Catholic university out there, business major. One topic led to another, and the next thing I knew, we were discussing politics. I talked about my fears surrounding immigration policies. My mother wasn't a US citizen yet, but I was encouraging her to apply ASAP.
Do you think that she'll get deported?
I don't know, but I'd like to minimize the possibility.
Oh, I know exactly what that's like. Yeah, my nanny, she's an immigrant too.
What?
Yeah, my nanny, she's an immigrant. I mean, she practically raised me. I'd hate to see her leave.
Right. It's been 6 years since this conversation happened, but whenever people ask me what my Notre Dame experience was like, I flash back to this. Notre Dame is full of well-meaning, rich white kids who are out of touch with common folks' struggles. The amount of times I heard people trying to claim the broke college student stereotype only to turn around and spend daddy's money on a Canada Goose, a trip to Cancun, or a fucking private jet to the Kentucky Derby. Insane. Or claiming their ancestry results came back and they're 2% West African, so that gives them the pass. Atrocious. You all claim to be allies, but when we speak up about our struggles, you turn around and make it all about you. Stop with the performative actions. You all want to be marginalized so badly. You don't have to find a way to relate to our stories. Just listen. Don't drown out our voice with the sound of your own. Just listen, please.
My mother is a child, learning her ABCs, her ones to hundreds, her shapes and colors, her vowels and consonants. She is a child with 2 children, children that she bore in a foreign country, who already knew their ABCs, 1, 2s, and 3s, what is an obtuse and acute triangle, the purpose of a semicolon, and the pejorative meaning of the word alien. My mother relied on her children to take her to school, where malapropism would take her mind away. She can't differentiate the difference between your and your. She doesn't know when to say an and before a word that starts with a vowel. And why is the PH silent? So today, my mother has homework. In a world where she doesn't know how to say, may I pick up my prescription?
I put on this mask to protect myself from the world. People laugh with me, but they don't see the parts of me that I hide. The jokes, the smiles, they're a way of keeping myself safe, of keeping people at a distance, so they don't see the weight I carry every day. It's tiring having everyone assume it's all right, but they really don't know. They don't know about the addiction that has torn my family apart for generations. It's like a shadow that hangs over everything, even if they can't see it. It's the reason why some things feel off, why relationships are strained, why I can't trust stability when it finally shows up. They don't know about the separation. It's the brokenness I carry in my heart and the mess of trying to figure it all out by myself. They don't know about the financial struggles, the fear of bills piling up, of never having enough. They don't know that I'm still waiting for my family to climb out of the hole. They don't see the nights when I go to bed worrying about tomorrow. They don't understand the weight of watching people around you suffer and the helplessness that comes with it. They don't know about trying to fit in, trying to adjust, while you wonder, who really cares? They don't know about the cycle of poverty. It's like a train you can't escape, and no matter how hard you try, it feels like you're stuck in it. It's not just about money. It's about mindset. Opportunities I'll never have, places I'll never go, dreams I'll never get to chase. They don't know about the judgment. It's a constant, quiet thing. The way people look at me when they don't understand my struggles. The feeling like I'm never enough because my life doesn't fit into the picture they expect. It's like being under a magnifying glass, where every little flaw is magnified, but the things that really matter, the resilience, the strength, the heart, are buried away. They don't know about the pressure to get rich, to prove something, to break free from the chains that have held my family down for generations. It's like everyone expects you to make it out. But if you don't, if you can't, then you're nothing. The stakes feel higher than anyone realizes. And sometimes it feels like I'm in a race I'm not sure I'll win. They don't know. They don't know what is really happening. They don't know that every laugh, every smile is a way to keep myself safe, to keep the real me buried. Because the true me doesn't belong here. I wish they would understand, because maybe if they did, it would make it easier to take off this mask. But every day that goes by, I find the people that do understand, the people who I can be myself around, the people who don't judge, the people who support me. I find my friends, but really I find my family. I find myself. I find the me I have pushed down for so long in order to succeed.
Hey, what's up? I'm just some guy. Some guy with an eating disorder.
Isn't that something only girls get?
So you're like a bitch then?
Dude, you're not that skinny. Stop fucking lying.
I'm not. It's real. At least, it was. I don't even know if it's still a thing. I'm just not eating. It's not as bad as it used to be. At least I can get myself to eat one meal a day, even if it's not until evening. Why did it come up? It's not like I deal with the same beauty standards that women have. I'm not obsessed with working out. This isn't some kind of I need visible, bulging muscles kind of thing. I just keep stopping myself from eating, no matter how hungry I get. I was always the skinny kid, started doing sports and found out I enjoyed how people were surprised by how strong I was, that a 112-pound kid could outlift most of the team full of bruiser types. Maybe I got addicted to the attention. Maybe I just loved being skinny strong so much that I needed to stay small. My coach told me that I needed to bulk up, but I couldn't bring myself to eat anything that I knew would increase that number 112. He said it would help me lift more, but I did that anyway, pushed myself to my limits while continuing to undercut my nutritional needs. It's okay though, I'd make that up by wolfing down a shit ton of Pop-Tarts when my body finally overpowered my brain and insisted on getting those precious calories any way that it could. That's healthy, right? At least I was eating. It wasn't. I wasn't. At least, not in the way that my body needed me to be. I'm in a better place now, though. At least I hope so. I'm eating at least breakfast every day, and usually I can get myself to eat dinner, too. People still tell me that I should eat more. They're not wrong. If only it was that easy.
Dear random roommate, do you remember how you felt the summer before our first year at Notre Dame? For me, it was a whirlwind of excitement and anxiety. I had just came out as gay during my senior year of high school, a journey that left me feeling both liberated and vulnerable. Losing friends, facing bullying, and navigating my mom's struggle to accept me. It was a lot to carry. But by the time I arrived to campus, I finally started to embrace my truth. I hoped that Notre Dame could be a fresh new start, somewhere where I could finally be comfortable in my skin. When we met on move-in day, I sensed your disappointment. We were an unlikely pair. Me, the theater kid obsessed with A24 movies and Taylor Swift, and you, the athlete with a love for the Wolf of Wall Street and fantasy football. It seemed like whenever we tried to find common grounds, we'd stumble upon more ways we were incompatible. I tried to shrug off the awkwardness between us, but I couldn't help but feeling like you were judging me, perhaps even resenting me for being different. I mean, I know you probably weren't expecting to have a gay roommate, but why was it such an issue for you? Did my presence make you feel uncomfortable? Were you embarrassed to be living with me? I questioned if I should change to make you more at ease, lower my voice, take down my posters, dress differently. But after years of hiding and code switching and dissecting my identity to please others, I refused to continue the cycle. I knew I had to stay true to myself, even if it meant facing your discomfort. Fast forward to senior year, we're living separate lives in different dorms on opposite sides of campus. I saw you at the gym the other day, and you greeted me with a fist bump. It caught me off guard because it had been so long since we've spoken. And I couldn't help but wonder, could have we been friends? Maybe not best friends, but friends nonetheless. It's easy to blame you for making me feel unwelcome, but perhaps I was too guarded, Too quick to assume you were like the guys who bullied me in high school. Maybe I didn't give you enough of a chance. All this time, I assumed you had reduced me to a stereotype. But perhaps I was the one guilty of stereotyping you. Either way, I regret that we couldn't see each other for who we really are. All the best, your unapologetically gay random roommate.
I am half a man and half a woman. I am both and neither at the same time. Something you have to be to know what it's like. I am a gender fluid person who believes to never fit the binary. The rules never applied to me. As a woman who loves other women, I stand in a place surrounded with heteronormativity. My mind is plagued with the sense that this world is not made for someone like me. My life could be in danger in the hands of those who believe that
Love is only for men and women.
Yet, for that, I should stay. For people who are half a man or half a woman, both and neither. Something you have to be to know what it's like.
My sister, sibling, changed their name 4 years ago. I'm still getting used to it. Whenever they get brought up in conversation, I have to pause for a minute, do some mental math, remember which name to use here, remember which is the most recent. I mess up a lot, but I'm trying. They called me 4 years ago out of the blue, crying their eyes out, spilling their heart. New name, they, them, sibling, not sister. Don't tell mom and dad. I didn't understand, but I didn't say that. I just said that I loved them. Our parents found out eventually, as we knew they would. Mom cried, Dad picked a fight. The church was brought up no less than a dozen times, as this would, of course, shatter its very foundations. Again and again, our mom cried, "My baby, are you not my baby anymore?" Again, I never understood. But I stood up for my sibling, fought with my parents, stormed out dramatically when the time came. And yet I always wondered, why was this so important to them? Why did they feel the need to pick this big of a fight, knowing how it would end? But the first time I used their new name in front of our parents, their eyes lit up bright. The same light my mom's eyes had when I tracked down a copy of her favorite scarf that she had lost years upon years ago, something she'd only ever mentioned once or twice. The same light my dad's eyes had when I canceled a road trip with friends to go hunting with him. I don't know the first thing about scarves or hunting or any of this gender stuff. But I love my family, and I would do anything to make them happy. Love, without understanding, is sometimes all that we can offer. And I will offer it every time. I don't get it, but I don't have to. I love my sibling, and that's all there is to it.
Our neighbor's rooster crowed at 5 a.m., signaling the moment I dreaded. Nestled into my spot on the ground, where blankets formed a cushion, I could feel the warmth of my family nearby. My grandma and brother shared the mattress next to me, while my mom worked the graveyard shift at the hospital. 3, 2, 1. Levántate, mija, es hora de trabajar. My grandpa's voice broke the silence, and I groggily rose to start my day. Outside, he smoked his morning cigarette while I nibbled on my mantecada. He climbed trees to pick the lemons and avocados while I gathered the fallen leaves to bag for my grandma's famous guacamole. He would ask me to start mowing the lawn till I couldn't stand it anymore, then laugh and take over. At the time, I didn't understand the routine. Why clean the yard daily if the leaves would just fall again? It felt pointless, like a punishment. In 7th grade, my English teacher asked us to draw what we wanted to be when we grew up. Sleep deprived from mornings of labor and long bus rides to a better school district. I drew myself as a politician wearing a suit, ready to make a difference. My classmates clapped politely, but as I returned to my seat, I hear a group in the back laugh.
You should have drawn a lawnmower. You're Mexican.
What else are you good for other than cleaning my lawn? I saw your grandpa, Jose, this morning.
The sting of those words was unforgettable. How could they see me as nothing more than a symbol of labor? In that moment, I realized I lived in 2 different worlds. Born in the US, I wasn't fully accepted as American. I don't look like the mainstream, and my Latino identity marked me as other. To be called American has always been more complex than what the label suggests. Raised in Southern California, my identity was shaped by the interplay between my Latinidad and the world around me. I belonged neither fully to Guadalajara, Mexico, where my mother's dreams began, nor to Xochitoto, El Salvador, where my father first carried his hopes to this country. My parents believed that assimilation was the key to success, yet their vision conflicted with my reality. My Latinidad and Americanness collided, leaving me caught between 2 worlds. No soy de aquí y no soy de allá. Where others saw poverty, my grandpa's lawnmower, I began to see as resistance. It symbolized discipline and economic advancement. Where I once saw my own heritage as a barrier, I grew to see it as a source of strength and connection. In Chino, I walked with my grandma to share the fruits of her labor with our neighbors. At the community center, I found belonging in baile folklorico. At church, we shared meals and laughter, celebrating our faith and culture. These moments taught me the beauty of our shared humanity. The lesson, échale ganas, became my compass. Balancing caregiving for my younger brother with pursuing my own education, I defied stereotypes and earned a full-ride scholarship. My story is one of perseverance and pride, proving that living at the crossroads is not a limitation, but a powerful act of resistance. The leaves may fall again, but I learned it is not in preventing the fall, but in rising, stronger, rooted, and ready for the next season.
Hi, welcome back.
Thank you.
So before we begin Act 2, I'd like to thank everyone who's made this show possible. First of all, I'd like to thank our faculty advisor, Dr. Lucero, for her support and leadership throughout this process. She cares so, yes, thank you. She cares so deeply about this show, and it would not be the same without her. I'd also like to thank our sponsors for their financial support. Without your generous contributions, this show would not have been possible. I'm especially grateful to our amazing cast for their dedication and for lending their voices to these stories. Many of our actors are making their theatrical debuts tonight, and they've shown incredible bravery in taking on such emotionally demanding material for their first stage experience. Special thanks to Derek Patrick, our executive producer, our assistant producer, Liz Cortez. Our assistant producer, Liz Cortez, who's also acting tonight. My assistant director, Will Peeler, who also took promotional photos of our cast. Melody Padilla, who served as both an acting coach and an actor for this show. And Caillou and Peter, who are doing lights and sound in the tech booth. I also want to thank our other faculty advisors, Professor McLaughlin, Professor Mick, and Professor Flav. Yes. Also, thank you to everyone who submitted a monologue. You've trusted us with some of your most vulnerable moments, and we appreciate your willingness to share something so personal. And finally, thank you, our audience, for being here tonight and giving these stories the attention they deserve. After the show, I invite you all to join us for a Q&A and an open dialogue with our cast and crew. That'll be here on the stage, so just stick around for that. We'd love to hear your reactions and your reflections about the show. Now we begin Act 2 with a very special monologue presented in digital format. So please enjoy There's Something Very Unique About Us.
There's something very unique about us. Crack open that melon, very sweet about us. African kings, Nubian queens about us. Jazz, blues, hip-hop, R&B about us. NFL, NBA, track and field about us.
I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, rams, hogs, dogs, chicken, turkeys, rabbits.
You name it about us. Loving basketball, Brooklyn, Black Panther, Hidden Figures about us. Afros, cornrows, twists, locks, and braids about us. History books skipped some chapters about us. Madam C.J. Walker, Garrett Morgan, Nathaniel Alexander about us. Some say there's something unjust about us. But I say there's something very stardust about us. Let the church say amen about us. Look at your neighbor and say blessed and highly favored about us.
The other day, I talked to my dad and we did the usual. We joked about life, me not being able to cook, my no sabo Spanish. But when he asked me if I could look after my sister after graduating, I knew we weren't joking anymore. He told me, "They said they saw ice 30 minutes from here on Tuesday. I didn't see anything at work. They won't get me." My dad has lived here for the past 23 years and works harder than anyone else I know. He jokes about everything and says everything happens for a reason. He's not worried, or so he claims. But I know him better than anyone else. Don't get me wrong, we've had our fights. He made my life miserable growing up. He's not perfect, but he doesn't deserve this. No one does. To live in fear. Then I asked myself what I've done so wrong for God to punish us like this. But I know he hates us just as much as I do. Then I think about people in positions of power and how they live in ignorance. I mean, they do say ignorance is bliss, but what an awful way to go through life. My sister doesn't deserve to live through this. She doesn't deserve to not live in a country that's all she's ever known. So yeah, I'm scared. Scared for us all. But I'm also angry, furious. Now more than ever, I am determined to help us get through this because we will. We will teach them not to fear. We will build sanctuaries so dreams can flourish. And we will persevere.
¿Qué piensas cuando me ves? What goes through your head when you see mi gente? Because according to the media, we are invaders of your country. According to the media, we are aliens in a country we helped build. Are these your thoughts? ¿En verdad piensas que mi gente no merece estar acá? Well, let me tell you about my people. Let me tell you about the things the media won't broadcast. Mi gente is hardworking. We have helped build this country from the ground up. We do the jobs nobody wants to do because someone has to do them, because they bring food to the table. We barely take any days off, and we put in overtime like no others. Mi gente is extravagant. We have given you a wide variety of food, music, tradition, dance, music, and so much more. We have shown you our cultures, which you have tried to assimilate and steal. Mi gente is full of dreamers. We dream big and work hard to make those dreams come true. We try our hardest to persevere, no matter how hard life gets. And although the system was created to work against us, we still cling to the bit of hope that's there. Even though we are denied the same rights and benefits as others, we still push forward. Because you can take everything from us, but you'll never take our dreams. So stop listening to the bad things the media says about my people. Because as far as I can see, my people, mi gente, exemplifies the American dream better than most Americans.
My favorite form of writing has always been the love letter. I don't just mean red envelope addressed to my dearest type beats, just an honest expression of love signed with your name. My first collection of poems was titled Love Letters. Each individual poem was named after its muse. There was one to Kim, the first guy I kissed. One to Nelson, a guitar player from New Mexico. And there was one titled, To Whom It May Concern. I couldn't address my abuser directly while her friends sat in my classes. And there's one titled, To Mama. That's a love letter I can never manage to finish. I've also never written myself a love letter. In fact, across the dozens of notebooks I filled with writing, I can count the number of times I've mentioned myself positively on a single hand. Each time that I go to write these letters, I'm reminded of all of the words that seem to be piling up. But the only exception of writing about myself positively is in my stories. Of course, I'm a mediocre author, so all of my characters are self-inserts. Idealized, loving, wearing bodies I wish I could. Longer hair, soft-spoken poets. Silver-tongued and with so much dialogue, all you can picture is a talking head. Very rarely women. I can't write that far idealized. And part of me seems to think that if a real woman were to ever read the female characters that I write, they'd laugh and say, this is what you see yourself as? This is what you see us as? And all of these characters die. Never peacefully and rarely heroic. I can't seem to give them a happy ending. Our bodies weren't made to hold such a thing. And I remember that it's difficult to write these stories for a reason. But every funeral I give those characters is jovial. There's laughter and dancing and friends speaking words that they never had the guts to say before. They're love letters. Is this what I'll feel when I finally kill this body? Once the hormone replacement therapy has run its course and I've forgotten to put the gravel in my voice, once my shoulders have been crushed to powder and once my leg cut off at the ankle, removing my need for a size 13 shoe, will I love my body then? Will I love my stomach and the set of my brow? Or will I mourn? This is just another 2 pages written. My mama told me that I would make an ugly girl. I was 14. She saw a man in a dress on the YouTube video I was watching, and I wonder if she saw myself before I saw me all those years ago. I wonder if she felt fear. My mama doesn't know. So I live. I can't imagine living in a way that my mama doesn't see me. Maybe one day I'll tell mama who I feel. Maybe she'll love me. Maybe I'll call in the prescription while she grabs the saw. Maybe she'd hate me. I don't know what I would do then. Either way, I would die. And either way, I'm throwing myself a funeral. So maybe then, maybe the day I tell mama who I am, maybe that's when I'll write myself a love letter.
Ever since I can remember, I felt like a glitch. Growing up, I didn't have a perfect body, or at least what society thinks that is. I wasn't the most popular, whatever that truly means. Being a person who stutters, and more recently, being diagnosed with PCOS, insulin resistance and arthritis, summed up the things that made me feel like a literal glitch in the world. Why would I have to endure all of these imperfections if they just made my life harder? They just made me feel like something was wrong with me, that I didn't deserve to be here, and I burdened people with my constant struggles. How could something as easy as saying my name become something that hard because of stuttering? How does regulating my period and my weight become so frustrating because of PCOS and insulin resistance? How does dressing up, walking to class, and brushing my own hair become such difficult tasks because of arthritis? However, after months of reflection, I understood that all of my glitches were what made me, me. All of those troubles and obstacles made me the person that I am today. Thanks to my glitches, I have achieved everything that I have. 10 years ago, I would have never thought that I'd love my stutter. I would have never thought I'd be at peace with my body. I've learned that being a glitch is what makes life so valuable. What gives my life meaning is being a glitch. Because that is what I call perfection. I had a genuine identity of happiness, a focus on growth, and a pure love of life. Until the early morning hours of October 9th, 2021, when this identity was ripped from my hands and shattered down to atoms. This morning was when a fellow student, a member of our Notre Dame family, permanently branded me a victim of sexual assault and rape. In the immediate aftermath, my identity reflected weakness, coupled with a growing darkness. I didn't recognize myself in the mirror for a long time. I still don't sometimes. I reported what happened to the school and to the police, but neither could help me piece me back together. This taught me that what I needed to put myself back together must come from the inside, that I must reach into the open wound, debride the infection myself, and put down my own glue to mend the broken pieces. I have hope for a full recovery, but I will always live with the scars of what happened in Alumni Hall. I'm not afraid or ashamed anymore to talk about what happened. It was horrendous, and he never should have done what he did. Despite his cruel treatment of me, since then, I've grown stronger as a person. I've started to create a new identity that is rooted in confidence, resourcefulness, and creativity. I don't thank my trauma for these qualities, though. My trauma has left me on many different floors, in many different places, sobbing until my body can't take it anymore. My trauma has left me with memory loss and concentration issues. My trauma took life from my bones and left ulcers in my stomach. My trauma still radiates anxiety throughout my entire body, all the way down to my toes. My trauma and my story are mine, that I must live with for the rest of my life. But I'm not just the worst thing that's ever happened to me. I'm the girl who wore a green wig for Irish Wears Green. I'm the girl who happily wears pig earrings and pig socks for Breen's Phillips Spirit Days. I'm the girl who successfully identified the unknown reagent as isomol acetate in Orgo Lab 2 because it smelled like banana candy. I'm the girl who adores the Starry Night Dome painting in Getty's Hall. I'm the girl who ran the Holy Half Marathon, then went to the class prom later that same day. I'm the girl who still loves Notre Dame, even though it's the place where I was broken in the worst way possible. I stay, though, because this is my home. Every quality the university stands for, I embody. The student who did this to me, however, doesn't, and for that, he should have been made to leave.
The university does not take the moral road and instead chooses to protect students like him instead of treating students like me justly. I'm not the first, and certainly not the last, whose identity has been stolen in this way. But I'm here to stay, to make this stop, because I will never let this go.
The first thing I did when I heard the news was run home and take a shower. I could practically feel his hands all over me in casual touches and hugs that used to be comforting. His victim's face was frozen in my mind every time I closed my eyes. I know everyone says it. My friend never showed any signs of being an abuser, when in reality, they were covering things up or ignoring them. That wasn't me. I don't think so, at least. I'd been involved in activism. I'd read all the stories, attended Take Back the Night. I knew the signs to look for. I thought I knew. What had I missed? Could I have stopped it? He acts like nothing happened. He tried to greet me like normal a few days later, but I made a muffled excuse and slipped away. That made me feel even more disgusting. I felt like I needed to call him out, yell it in front of everyone. Hey, North Dining Hall, this is the guy. Don't let him get away with it. But I know how Notre Dame handles these things. I couldn't stop picturing myself getting in trouble while he walked away, scot-free. In other words, I was a coward. I am not the victim here. I want to make that very clear. My experience is nothing compared to what his victim endured. But it's not something that anyone ever really talks about. There's no guide for what to do when you find out that someone you respected is a monster. I just thought that maybe I wasn't the only one out there keeping quiet about these feelings. I'm sorry. I don't have advice for you. It just hasn't been long enough to figure it out. I understand you, though. I see you. I believe that you can be better than the company you used to keep. I hope that I can be, too.
When I used to live in a men's dorm, I always got comments saying, "That's kind of gay." Well, I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm gay!
I didn't know that Jesus was Jewish until my late teens, maybe my early 20s. Not the sort of conversation that Jewish families had around Passover dinner. What I've learned over the years is that most Christians don't talk about the fact that Jesus was Jewish very often either. In fact, I'm pretty sure that some don't even know. Years ago, my wife and I co-led a study abroad to the Middle East, and we were at the Jordan River baptism site of Jesus. And I was talking with the students about considering baptizing. And they were shocked. I was going to get baptized, I was going to become a Christian, and I had to stop them and I had to remind them, Jesus wasn't baptized to be a Christian. There were no Christians back then. He was baptized to dedicate himself to humanity. I have been enmeshed in Christian social culture life for the last 30 years. There are times that I feel like Jane Goodall. I'm immersed in a culture that I didn't grow up in, that I don't know much about at the beginning. I'm trying hard to fit in. I'm trying to adapt, to blend in. There are times that I get it right, and I get invited to some semi-sacred rituals, but I will never be a full member of the troupe because I am not Christian. I've also worked my entire professional career at Christian universities. First 25 years were at Eastern Mennonite University in Virginia. And for those of you who don't know Mennonites or think they're like Amish, there's a sect that is, but the ones I worked with, they were of this world. They had electricity, they had cars. It's a peace church. It's a simpler church. They had big wooden crosses. There was nothing like Touchdown Jesus anywhere. I had to adapt to this different culture. And what I remember the most is when I started working there were prayers at events, at meetings, at gatherings, at meals. It wasn't something that I grew up with. And I would get chills up and down my spine. I looked into it, read up, and found out that that's a sign that your body is uncomfortable with something. And so I started to try and be mindful. Breathing exercises, really paying attention to the prayers and the people saying them. And after a while, the chills stopped happening. I'd adapted. Fast forward to a little over 2 years ago, I started working at Notre Dame. And now I have to adapt to Catholics, very different than Mennonites. Crucifixes in every classroom. Priests walking down the sidewalk in full robes and regalia. Noonday mass in the building I work in. There's a church inside the building where I work. When I started to adapt and to know I was part of it was the day I saw a nun on a scooter zipping down the sidewalk, habit flowing behind her. I think she was probably late to prayers at the grotto. So if you haven't figured it out by now, I use sarcasm and humor in order to cope and to adapt. Jews are basically born with sarcasm, right out of the womb. I have the premium upgrade to Super Sarcasm Plus. If you want, you can ask my family, my colleagues, my friends, and they'll say, yeah, he does. There's crucifixes in the classroom. There's always a Jew watching you. The eyes on them, the eyes that follow you, the ones that follow you from the paintings and the statues, cameras, reporting back to the secret Jewish cabal that runs the world. And Our Lady on the dome, the golden Jewish mom who welcomes me to work every morning. And if there's a day I don't want to go to the gym, I can use the words of Howard Wolowitz from The Big Bang Theory, point to a crucifix and say, do you see the abs on Jesus? That was the last Jew that did sit-ups, and look what happened to him. Now, before you think I'm being irreverent, blasphemous, struck by lightning, maybe not, I have great respect for the teachings of Jesus. There is something hardwired, ingrained in me by being Jewish that I can't say Messiah, but a rabbi, a teacher. I have been enmeshed with Christian life for over 30 years. There's a lot of me that I've gotten from the people around me and the teachings of Jesus. I have tried to interact with friends and family, colleagues, based on a lot of those teachings. I just wish that all Christians followed those teachings. Because I have not found a single Bible verse where Jesus said people could have unlimited access to guns and solve problems with violence. I also haven't found the one that said, cut aid to the poor and give the rich tax breaks. I think they got that backwards. But I'm here, I'm adapting, I'm enjoying it. I will leave you with one little bit of information about Notre Dame staff. Notre Dame staff every year have to set goals. Work on it throughout the year, see how much you've accomplished on a new project, revise the goals next year. Most people only put professional goals in their reports. Some put personal ones, like, I'm going to learn Spanish this year. So I'm going to share with you my personal goal for the year. My personal goal is to find the perfect painting in the Rackley Murphy Art Museum of Jesus to do a YMCA photo shoot. I just need 2 more people and a camera person. If you're interested, see me after the show.
I've been thinking lately, mostly while walking around campus, when the construction's going so loud I can't hear the music in my headphones, or at night, when the stars are out. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so fucking happy to be here. Every star I see is one I almost didn't get to. I could have killed myself in the middle of the shitstorm that was last year and never gotten to see this sky. Never gotten to be this person. And I almost did. But I didn't. I didn't do it. Each day I get is borrowed time. And I'm going to take them all. I never bothered to learn the names of the stars before, but now I know them all. I want to radiate that energy. I want to be the kind of person who makes you go, wow, they sure do love being alive. I want to love being alive as much as they do. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I guess just, I thought, it gets better, was some corny phrase that guidance counselors say. Until it happened to me. I got better. I hope you do too. I hope that in the moment you hear this, you think to yourself, what a whack job. Optimism is for suckers. And then a couple years go by, and you heal, and you grow, and you randomly remember this one day and think, wait, I get it now. I hope you look up at the stars on your way home tonight.
I'm a walking cover letter, a Harvard graduate, well-traveled, lived in 5 countries, multilingual, multi-talented, but also multi-broken. I come from a broken family, a family that takes photos for our annual Christmas cards, but beyond the paper, we're a shattered, fractured family. My eldest sister is addicted to alcohol and ketamine. My middle sister failed out of med school. My parents fought endlessly, it seems, until my dad died. And now, I am the golden child. The glue that must be put together and must have the agility and ability to put things together at all times. I am my family's walking cover letter. But I'm also gay, like super gay. And being super gay as an Asian woman whose parents are super conservative is resistant to my super glue. Yes, my queerness clings fiercely to my core, but it is covered, curling inward, silenced. My queerness desperately wants to feel free, seen, and heard. Gay, by definition, means lighthearted and carefree. Yet, why does my heart feel so heavy? I am given neither the care nor the freedom to express myself fully. I never had the luxury of coming out. I recall watching a viral video of two twins coming out to their dad. Watching that YouTube video snowballed into watching other viral videos of white kids coming out to their white parents and being accepted right away. What a dream, I thought. What a luxury. Instead of coming out, my mom came in. She scrolled through my phone while I was asleep, reading and taking photos of my texts that revealed I was gay. Instead of coming out, I was forced out. We nearly got into a car accident. My mom pulled over on the side of the highway once to interrogate me about my sexuality. Every school and work accomplishment was wiped out by my queerness. My Harvard degree dissolved into dust. My mom would roll her eyes at me whenever I spoke. The golden child became the gay child. A disappointment. My own mom called me a faggot for 2 years. Desperate for an escape, I sometimes found myself homeless, dragging my luggage across Manila, napping in parks, or staying awake in 24-hour coffee shops. My travels, once symbols of ambition, became quests for refuge. Moving to Dubai wasn't just a career move. It was a way to escape the slurs, the suffocating expectations, the weight of feeling like a burden. It was a chance to let my queerness finally, slowly escape for a breath of fresh air. Yes, I am multi-broken, but I'm also brave, brilliant, beautiful, bright, bold, benevolent, and blessed. I can be a B word too sometimes, but one B word I'm not is a burden. Being super gay is not and will never be a burden. In Japan, there's an art form called kintsugi. It involves repairing broken pottery by mending the areas of breakage with gold. I am proudly a super gay golden child. From my broken pieces, I am becoming whole. I see beauty in my past. I see beauty in my pain. And I see beauty in myself.